Whoa. Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Dolce Show Friday Q&A edition. And you know, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go live on our YouTube channel and we answer your questions, as many questions as we can. Usually, we like to have a specific topic of the day, and we're going to give it another minute or so before I get into that topic. We wait for the stream to populate, though many of you will watch on the replay, and that's fine. Or you will download our podcast, the Mike Dolce Show podcast, to which this is also being recorded. The topic I want to talk about is the new study, the breaking news that eggs will once again kill you. You remember eggs were great for you, and then eggs were bad for you. Then eggs were pretty good for you, and then eggs will kill you, and then eggs were great for you. But now it appears that eggs once again are positioned to kill us and kill us all. Maybe this is the master plan of the animals. They all got together. They talked to the chickens and they say, chickens, listen, these fucking omnivore humans keep eating us. We have to get rid of them. The medicine will become the poison. Therefore, chickens, we hereby bequeath you will be the assassin of the human race, and you will turn your delicious, tasty little eggs into carriers of doom and gloom and cardiovascular disease. But that might not be true. Again, exactly. And what we can do is we can briefly jump over to the study itself, the new study, the new breaking study that is all over your Twitter timeline, and it's all over the major media outlets, and it will continue to persist probably for 3 days to a week or so before they move on to something, again, more innocuous. Maybe the Zika or Ebola virus will, come back, and whatever other global mad cow disease, maybe that'll come back again too. Now, I want to say that the study is not without merit, and the merit is that each person should take all the relevant information out there, and you should make an informed decision yourself for what is best for yourself. Now, this study, I don't know if they do a very good job in that, and even the study's own authors basically say that. Though the pop culture media does not use that as the headline, they essentially use the headlines that bad news for egg lovers, or eggs boost risk of heart disease, and many other basic, put down that omelet, eggs are bad for your heart health. So these are just a few popular titles that I'm just seeing with a quick Google search. So you can see the doom and gloom of media, of the general pop culture media, as I call it, because that's what it is. This is just the clickbait media. And what they're doing, they're taking, once again, as many do, and many of the faux fitness frauds that I talk about, not just the pop culture media, they take one single piece of information from one study that other people did, usually not representative of their target audience and demographic, but they conflate that one specific issue, which creates a narrative for them, which creates clickable content. And many even use that content to differentiate a business stream, a business model. You'll probably see that come in, like the no yoke diet plan or something. Now, this study itself, though I think we've been on, here we go. All right, so we're almost 4 minutes in. Hopefully the stream is well populated at this point. The study, essentially, they followed about 20, 30,000 people over anywhere between 17 and 31 years. And they took these people and they didn't so much study these people, but they sent them a bunch of questionnaires asking them, hey, how you doing? How you feeling? What's kind of gone on? And I'm very, very paraphrasing. I'll put a link to the study and some of the supportive articles, down below. But for the nature of the conversation, I'm going to paraphrase for you guys. They took a large audience, 20, 30,000 people, and they took that audience and they followed them again 17 to 31 years in total. And when I say follow them, I don't mean they really like follow them and follow them around and track their daily activity and track their daily food intake and track their daily levels of stress and track their geographical point of habitation, or they track their genealogy, they track their family history, they track their heredity. They didn't really track much of that. They might have a general purview of what that might be in very general, large number lump sums, but they were not able to track the individual. That's a problem. That's a bit of a problem, specifically with the headlines. And I'm not mad at the study's authors, because the study authors, one of which is, and I will name this corresponding study author, Narina Allen, Associate Professor of Preventative Medicine at Northwestern University, Feinberg School of Medicine. Now, and is this? It doesn't say doctor, so I'm not going to say that she is a doctor. It's corresponding study author, so an author of this study, the study that's being widely reported. And later on, what is said is a major limitation of the study is the participants' long-term eating patterns weren't assessed. Okay. So you don't know what else they were eating. You don't know whether other dietary habits they had, or what the geographic availability of food sources was. What type of foods, what type of eggs were they eating? Were they eating conventional 99-cent a dozen Costco eggs, low quality eggs? Or were they eating a dozen of farm-raised eggs on a natural, organic, non-GMO, pesticide-free, free-range farm? Well, that matters. That matters more than probably any other aspect of this study, which is just fatally flawed. Now, Narina Allen also says, study co-author, we have one snapshot of what their eating pattern looked like, but we think they represent an estimate of a person's dietary intake. Still, people may have changed their diet, and we can't account for that. So over 17 to 30 years, they basically are thinking what people ate and thinking how they lived, and saying very clearly that they can't really account for any sort of changes that might have happened over the 17 to 30 or so years in their diet. They sent these people in the study a questionnaire, assuming that the people who filled out the questionnaire filled it out honestly and even had the cognitive ability to recall the way that they ate 3 years ago or 30 years ago. Now, I doubt many of you could recite what you ate last week, last month, last year, let alone last decade. And I'm sure we've all gone through major fluctuations. Also, major levels of stress, many lifestyle and geographic moves. My point is, and I'm not banking or bagging the study, what I'm saying is you need to really, when you see these clickbait headlines, you need to pull back and ensure that you have a solid general understanding of the information being presented, and you drill down. Now, after this, because 1 o'clock was my live time and I was only made aware of this study about 20 minutes before we went live, I will pull up the full study, and I'll likely follow that up in at least one, but likely a series of videos, 7 to 10 minute videos on our YouTube channel, giving you deeper information. Now, I don't think you should be eating 6 to 12 eggs a day, regardless of source. I also don't think you should be eating 0 eggs per day or week or month or year. So I don't think you should eliminate eggs from your diet completely. I don't think you should consume massive amounts of eggs in your diet. I think the right answer is somewhere in between, based upon you, based upon your physiology, based upon your health history, based upon your geographic ability to procure high quality egg products. All of this matters. I do think you should have the conversation with your doctor after comprehensive blood work has been done to see what risk factors you may exhibit. This is all a part of the conversation, and this is what we do here at the Dolce Diet and Fitness Center. We work with people to find what the best possible nutrition plan will be for them based upon all this specific information. And unfortunately, the confines of this study do not allow for any specific information. So much of this is theorized, I believe, because Norina Allen, co-author of the study, says it's what we think. Anytime you allow a hypothesis into a study or an assertion, that allows for bias. And many times, in many ways, we are all biased in one way, shape, or form. Now, sometimes you're biased and you hedge against your own bias, being aware of your bias, which then makes you diminish what might be factually true that supports your own bias. That's very possible, and that happens quite a bit also. So this study in and of itself is, I believe, a waste of time in many ways. It is, who knows how many dollars they got to do this, because I'm not saying they were doing it for fame and fortune per se. I think they're legitimate scientists trying to gather more data to share with the public on what is best for public health. But once again, this study seems to be a waste of time based upon their conclusions having no real benefit to the public other than another hypothesis. And if we look back over time, and we're aggregating that information right now, there have been dozens of high-profile studies, very reputable studies, peer-reviewed studies that both equally support and equally condemn the consumption of eggs for health reasons. Some say not eating eggs is actually worse than eating eggs. Some say eating any eggs will kill you. Some say 1 egg per day is the ideal. Some say 3 eggs per day or more is the ideal. And of course, others say that they will once again kill you. So to close this loop, and then I'll go through and answer your questions. What I want you to do is be informed. Be informed. Take this information and do your own research and read the studies and read the articles and get all the pertinent information you need, and weigh that against your own background, your own health history, your own conversations with your own doctor. We stress that. Go to your doctor, get your blood work done, get a comprehensive wellness checkup every 6 months minimum. I would love to see you every 3 months in your doctor's office getting your blood work up to see what's actually happening and who you actually are. That's the best way to do it. Now, me personally, I consume approximately a dozen eggs per week in some way, shape, or form. I don't eat eggs every single day. Sometimes eat 1 or 2, and sometimes I do eat 3 or 4 in a single sitting. But for me, over 7 days, it probably comes down to 10 to 12 eggs or so. Now, those of you who know, I recently reported my calcium heart score. My calcium heart score was the best possible score that any human could have. As a 42-year-old male with my father and grandfather both suffering strokes and heart disease, it's safe to say that my nutrition plan, I believe, unless there's some other unknown factor which might happen, I don't know, the type of nutrition plan that I've been following has been ideal for me, as my blood work is near perfect consistently, as my fitness levels are near perfect consistently, as my EKGs through my fight career were near perfect, if not always perfect. I don't think I had any anomalies, but I'll say near perfect in case there ever was something weird, likely due to rushing to the office because I'm late, or just, poor placement of the pads. And my calcium heart score of 0. And a 0 is the best possible score you can get on a calcium heart score. So that being said, now this is just for me. And like I said, you need to determine what is best for just you. And I will do my best to pull back the curtains and share a lot of this information from a scientific perspective, breaking down the science and simplifying it, and then also adding experiential information of what I've actually seen in the real world. So let me answer some questions for you. G-Man says, are the weights in ounces in the 12-week program or 3 weeks to shredded cooked weight? Usually they're in ounces. They're either in ounces or grams, depending if you've picked the imperial or metric system. A-class, Coach Dolce, thank you so much for all the content. You are the best. Question, full body workout Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What do I do Saturday and Sunday? Saturday and Sunday, I would leave maybe Saturday for some form of GPP, general physical preparedness, active recovery. I might do some farmer's walks. I might, grab a trap bar, do some farmer's walks or a couple dumbbells or plates or kettlebells or whatever. I might do some walking lunges up and down my street. I might go to the beach. I might walk a mile or 20, 30 minutes in the sand, turn around, come home. I might do a little calisthenics. I might go play flag football with my friends, or throw a baseball for a while in my backyard with my kids. I might do that. And then on Sunday, I might do something that's much lower intensity, but longer duration. I might go for a long romantic walk on the beach. I might go hiking with my family or friends. I might get on the bike and go for a 20, 30, hour and a half ride, cruise around town, sipping on an iced coffee. That's what I find to be best. You need to unwind, like downshift a little bit, but at the same time, still be an athlete. Ephedrine, I just had 2 eggs. I'm doomed. I'm Sean. Eggs are bad for you. Drags deeply of cigarette. Exactly. I think now they're saying eggs can cause prostate cancer. Of course. They probably say spinach is bad for you next. They do say that time. Spinach is ridiculed from time to time. So is kale. So is quinoa. So is green tea. Oxygen intake is highly correlated with death later in life. That's awesome. Seth, what's up, Seth? Good to see you. Wendy, I'm diabetic. What is the best diet to reverse that? Oats spike my sugar. I thought about doing keto, just ate 4 eggs. Well, Wendy, I can't give you, and I would not give you specific information about your specific situation. What my strong recommendation would be is to speak privately with one of our registered dietitians. Getting just a soundbite from a social media outlet, that's not going to do you any good. And that information might be bad for you. So my strong recommendation is to sit with a registered dietitian, at the very least have a consultation, and come up with a list of food items or meal plans or lifestyle habits that will suit you based upon your background, based upon an in-depth conversation about your background, your diagnosis, what specifically you're dealing with, but also your goals. Now, we do that through our 30-minute consultation. It's called the one-on-one consultation. You can go to dolcedietshop.com to register for that, and you will be assigned one of our registered dietitians who will send you a digital intake form with which you fill out all of your pertinent background information before you ever get on the call. That way, we have your information to review prior to the call, so you get 30 minutes of straight conversation about exactly what we can do to help you. That would be the best way, specifically if you're dealing with a form of diabetes. Jason, whoever published this study probably cannot perform 100 nonstop bodyweight squats. I would guarantee you that. So, Cal Seth, if eggs are bad, again, I blame hip hop lyrics. There could be a correlation to the number or the top 10 chart of hip hop music correlating to egg and cholesterol increase. There could be. I'm not saying there is, or maybe it's Nicolas Cage movies or something. Anthony Ross, everything in moderation. Eggs are super healthy unless you overdo it. I have a tendency to indulge and eat crazy amounts, so I had to cut all the animal products out and ended up losing 75 pounds. And that's exactly personal application specific to you and your lifestyle. Naeem, what do you think of Khabib Nurmagomedov as a person? I got to tell you, Naeem, I've always had amazing interactions with Khabib Nurmagomedov. I would consider him a friend, or at the very least, we are very friendly. We don't text each other. I don't have his cell phone number, but when we see each other in person, we make it a point to go and shake each other's hand and have a conversation. I've had many conversations with Khabib, and I found him to be nothing than a gentleman athlete. He's just soft-spoken, he's quiet, he's polite, he's very respectful. I've never heard him say a single bad word about anyone, and he's an absolute stud inside the octagon. So my critique of Khabib is he's been a great guy. Viewing, if eggs are bad, then I should be dead. I eat around 4 to 6 daily. Mike Murphy, eggs from free-range chickens that you keep yourself are way nicer, bright orange yolk compared to the factory-kept garbage. True. Seth, when I come to Jersey, I'm still getting a Taylor ham and egg. By the way, what size t-shirt are you rocking, Coach? I rock an extra large typically, and it fits me oh so tight. And if I want to really be painted in my shirt, I'll wear a large. But that pretty much chokes me because I have a 20-ish or so inch neck, and like a 19.5 to 20.5 inch neck. And Seth, it's not a Taylor ham in Jersey. It is a pork roll. It is a pork roll. So you want to be real Jersey, you're going to get a pork roll, egg and cheese with salt, pepper, ketchup on a hard roll. Bang. Vic, hello, Coach. Couple quick questions. Do you prefer training in the morning or at night? Both. Have you ever practiced stomach vacuums, and what's your take on doing them regularly? Yes, I have. I think it's great. And it's diaphragm control. It's breathing control. I do work on my diaphragm. Not so much because I'm trying to hit a classic physique vacuum pose in a front double bicep, though I have done that before in my bathroom. It's because I'm just simply trying to control the muscles, all the muscles in my body, specifically those of my diaphragm. G-Man, are the weights representative of cooked protein or uncooked? Cooked. I'm sorry for asking again, but I'm sorry, G-Man, I missed that. Cooked. So when we talk about measurements of food, we're talking about the cooked measurements. And some say it non-cooked, and that's fine, and some say cooked. What we do as a brand, we say cooked because it's easier that way. You know, especially if you're out at a restaurant, let's say you're at someone's house, you're not going to say, hey, can you weigh out 8 ounces of raw chicken and cook that up for me? It gives you a good understanding of how much food should be on your plate. Roman, what up, Mike? Just joining in. Roman Graham, good to see you, my friend. Welcome. Welcome back. Welcome to the stream. Ling Yinny, and everybody here, give me a thumbs up. Give this video a thumbs up if you appreciate this video and the sage advice that I've offered thus far, plus me allowing myself to share what little bit of brain power I have left with you. I don't know. I might completely go face down after this live Q&A with absolutely zero brain cells, brain power left. So this could be the last one I ever do, and I'm willing to share that with you. And I think that's worthy of a thumbs up for all those people who've come in. I do appreciate it. But Ling Yinny, what's your favorite way to eat eggs? I love poached eggs. I love all eggs. So I'll have poached eggs. I'll have hard-boiled eggs. I'll turn it into a quiche or a frittata. I will have them scrambled. I'm an omelet king. Those of you who know that, you probably won't ever eat a better omelet than mine. I could work, and this was a very, very well-known, someone that you know, very famous, well-known person, media person. Global entity, personality, had said, listen, man, if this whole Dolce diet thing doesn't work out, you can get a job as a grill man at any diner in New Jersey. And that's the fucking truth. And that so if all goes wrong, I could walk into any Greasy Spoon diner and be the king of the skillet. I could be the best eggman known. Maybe I'll become the Gordon Ramsay of the Greasy Spoon. Who knows? Maybe that's the Second Life business, right? What's your favorite way? Vic, by night, I mean evening, 5 to 7. Thanks. I prefer to train between 11 and 3. I also prefer to train fasted. I prefer to train like right about the time the sun is coming out, a little bit before, and to be out when the sun does come out. I love that. And then a little bit later after 2 to 3 meals. I'm not true. It's called Taylor ham in northern New Jersey. Pork roll is said in southern Jersey. And that's what I'm talking about, because northern New Jersey, that's not New Jersey. You're just a suburb of New York. South Jersey is real Jersey. You know that. South Jersey is real Jersey. We're New Jersey. No offense. I love you. I love my North Jersey friends and family. I love you guys. But at the same time, you're not true Jerseyans. You're a suburb of New York. You're New York influenced. I'm sorry to say. South Jersey is real Jersey. Seth, pork roll. Oh my God, I was led astray. Yeah, you were probably talking to one of our North Jersey Goombas, spray tan, spiky hair, Aquanet, acrylic 4-inch acrylic finger friends up there. Love them. We're all on the same team, right? We're all on the same team. But you guys know South Jersey, what's up? Tilson, Dolce starting the 12-week program Monday. Stoked as fuck. Question on coffee. What do you recommend for creamer, and what do you think of stevia in coffee? I recommend no creamer, and I recommend no stevia. I recommend you drink your coffee black. Black coffee or espresso. That is God's brew right there. Black coffee is black gold. There's no reason you should be adding creamer or sweets to your coffee other than you're just being a child. What's the big deal? Oh, man, I don't like it. I don't like it. I can't drink my coffee. And those of you listening to the podcast, I'm wiping my eyes like a 4-year-old baby throwing a temper tantrum. Well, I need cream in my coffee. I need stevia. Stevia is disgusting. Stevia is disgusting. Stevia is, I got some bad things to say. I won't say it. But it was equated to homeless people and assholes, as far as what I imagine. Actually, what stevia does taste like, not that I've tasted a homeless person's asshole, but I have tasted stevia. And that's the way I imagine a homeless person's asshole would actually taste if I ever imagined that story. Stevia is gross. And most stevia is a bastardized version of stevia leaf. Now, if you're saying, hey, Dolce, I'm actually taking stevia leaf and putting that in my coffee, all right, I'm not going to bust your balls too much. But if you're taking some processed stevia product, fucking why? Dude, you're just fucking cut it cold turkey. It's those of you with the comb over, rocking the comb over, or the hair piece, or the fucking spray on static hair. Dude, why? Just fucking shave that shit. Same thing with your coffee. Just go black. Enjoy real coffee. And now you'll become a coffee connoisseur. You'll start to understand what real coffee actually is, not just blurring the flavor in cream and fake sugar. Ling Yini, what's going on with Conor? Another felony? It could be, but it's one of those innocuous little crimes. What did he do? He grabbed someone's cell phone, he threw it on the ground, and he fucking smashed it. And yeah, that's poor form for Conor McGregor. I have nothing but condemnation for that. But what did he do? He grabbed the fucking phone and threw it on the ground and smashed it and took it away. And now he's getting sued. And the dude who's suing him is going to end up with a couple $100,000, probably, maybe even a couple mil. Who knows? Who knows? And he'll get as much as Conor decides is worth to not have to fucking deal with it. So bad on Conor. And that's Conor's repentance right there. That's how Conor hopefully will learn. And this is the problem. When you have a shit ton of money, doesn't fucking matter. You know, fuck it, whatever. I do whatever. What's it going to cost me $100,000? Fuck it. Fucking worth it when you're worth $100 million to smash a fucking phone. I don't know. I would assume, right? I would assume. Who knows? But it's poor form in a way, but at the same time, it keeps Conor in the headlines, right? Conor's in the headlines now. And it was odd that this happened just as he was on tour promoting his Proper 12 whiskey. Oh, everyone's clicking on those articles now too, right? Conor's, he's crazy like a fox. Sean Newbley, would you rather be missing your front big toe on each foot or have an uncurable case of booberry? Oh, take my toes, man. Take my toes. And I would rock fucking, I would somehow put together some way, some flip-flop, some sandal that I could wear. And I'd be like, yep, I would rather have no fucking toes than a nasty old fucking boo belly. And those of you who don't know, the boo belly is my term, by the way. So don't try and take the term without giving me credit. The boo belly, it's when dudes have the big old fucking boobs, A cups, probably B cups, and the big old fucking cottage cheese belly sticking out through their shirt where you can see the indent of the fucking belly button. You can see the nipple, the juicy, almost lactating nipple fucking creeping out. And this is on dudes. Kind of sexy when you see it on women. On dudes, not sexy. Whoop, whoop, not sexy. So yeah, Sean, take my toes. No fucking boo belly here. I want you to see my fucking rock hard abs through my shirt. I want you to see my well-formed pecs through my shirt. And then you can look at my fucking my no toes. And who's going to care anyway about no toes? Nobody cares about no toes. That's a good one. Bro Science, Hustler, local supermarket has ground bison now. Worth paying extra for it? Get one and see. I would say, yeah, get one and see. Check the price, check the quality. Just because it's bison doesn't mean it's organic or non-GMO or raised at a high quality facility from a very reputable company. I would look into the manufacturing process. I would look into the quality of the company. I would look into the administrative board of the company. I'd try and learn more about that, which we do. I'd follow their social media. I'd start to pay attention. That's what I do. All the companies, all the food that I consume, I fucking pretty much, I don't know anyone personally or many personally, but I drill down pretty deep. I want to see who these motherfuckers are. I want to see what their passion is, what they do, what they're putting out there. That matters. That's how I choose. That's why I'm buying $5.99 dozen eggs most of the time. You know, I want to make sure. Giacomo, what's up, brother? Is there such thing as wear and tear if you are a fit FedEx courier who repeats body motions all day long? Absolutely, there is. And I work with many of you guys. I work with a lot of delivery men and women, whether it's the short haul delivery or long haul delivery. And a lot of you guys in and out the truck, the same way that you reach for the door, the way you reach for the package, it's always a right arm. It's always a right arm. It's always, right arm crossbody this way, instead of squared on two hands lifting with your hips. Same thing. It's hunching over. It's dropping and rounding, dropping and rounding, dropping and rounding, instead of squatting and placing. You have to think about this shit. And what I say is, if you are in one of these repetitive jobs, you have such an amazing benefit to be the ultimate athlete. If you're just conscious of body mechanics, you might want to grab a personal trainer or a physical therapist and go over some body mechanics. Maybe I'll put that into my Raw series. You want to come here and train with me or us, and we can run you through, because I have a pretty good sequence of proper lifting in the real world, not just lifting barbells and dumbbells and sandbags, but lifting real shit, getting the oatmeal off the top cabinet, or opening up above the refrigerator, or squatting down and getting the Thanksgiving Day turkey carving plate. We use as examples that you can see just people are just so fucking gangly, nasty when they reach over. Think about when you grab anything. Just think about how shitty your form is. Ugh. If I could take a snapshot and a photo of that and put it on your Instagram, you would be mortified at the way you look. Just shit form. So yes, very, very possible. And guys and gals, a thumbs up would be awesome. I would appreciate a thumbs up for all the knowledge that we're dropping and the shitty humor that I have. If nothing else, I think the licking a homeless man's asshole was worthy of a few thumbs up, I would say. Benny Vigil, what's the best way to lose man boobs? Boom, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get rid of that boob belly. Nutrition is very important. Let's get you nutrition on point. Let's assume that you've gone to the dolcediet.com and you're following our 4-week or 12-week online personalized diet and exercise program. So then I know you have everything you need nutritionally, but also you have the perfect exercise program to now start shredding that body fat and sculpting, building the muscle, because that's a big part of the process. You need to lose that body fat, that fat nip. There's a lot of water in there, right? Very soggy, flappy nips. And there's a lot of fat accumulation, depending on the guy. That is a gender-specific fat storage area, a stubborn area at that. Now, some guys get away with it and their pecs look great and they got these big old nasty fat muffin top bellies. And some guys, man, they got ripped abs, but they got these fucking tits hanging out of their shirt. Pardon my French. Either way, it can be improved, and it always should be improved. So we want to lose the body fat. We want to lose the water weight by following a proper diet. A proper nutrition program will help that. And then we want to start to build muscle tissue. Building muscle tissue will then fill up that space, that skin sac space, right? Picture like you're wearing a shirt that's slightly too big. Now, if you have a bigger, rounder, fuller, more defined chest, that will fill out that space also and help deter and blur the visual, cosmetic, aesthetic look of the chest while the body continues to lose that body fat. We also want to talk about stress, because there are many stress receptors in that area that will impede total fat loss. So you want to find a lifestyle, or you want to live a lifestyle that really minimizes total stress, external stress. That might be breaking up with that crazy fucking boyfriend, girlfriend you've been with for a while. That might mean paying all of your motherfucking bills a month in advance, paying all your bills the 15th of the month prior to them being due, instead of paying them 3 days after they were already due. Just doing that, being ahead of life, managing your stress, being an adult, being in control will reduce your stress, will allow you to look better, to feel better, to perform better, and likely live longer and happier. Now, we also want to get our rest. We want to be sleeping 7.5 to 9 hours every single night. And I want you going to bed 1 hour before you normally do, but waking up 30 minutes before you have to. You just earned a 30-minute net gain of total sleep time while giving yourself 30 additional minutes to be productive during the day. Tilson, black coffee is thumbs up. Heck yeah. Seth, I'm curious as to what led up to Conor smashing the phone. Man, it could have been anything. It could. Now, I will say I've been around Conor quite a few times. Conor's been cool as shit. I've seen no ego personally. This is just me personally. I've seen no ego. I've seen no disrespect. I've never seen anything bad from him. Who knows what happened? I don't know what happened. Maybe the dude kicked Conor in the balls. Maybe he spilled a beer on his $8,000 pair of shoes. I don't know. Maybe he called him a bad word. I don't know. Maybe he was just a really nice guy that, kind of invaded Conor's space at the wrong time. I don't know. Maybe Conor was just like, watch me be a bully here. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the motivation was. It is unfortunate, though. Giacomo, thank you for that response. Excellent. Right on. Hawk 3D. Hey, Mike, hope you're well. Wondered if you've ever helped anyone go through ACL rehab. Absolutely. Had an MRI the other day and waiting for results. Anyone reading this, Mike does awesome phone consultations. Brother, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And those of you who have had the opportunity to speak with me one-on-one during our 30-minute consultations, well, high five to you. Or many of you have spoken with our registered dietitians, even our lead dietitian, Miss Meg 40, MSRDLRDDDC. She's the one that likely you'll speak to if you go to dolcedietshop.com and you click on that 30-minute consultation button. So, Hawk, yeah, we've had many athletes. We've worked with many athletes during ACL rehab. And most of when I say athletes, that's most of our pro athletes, right? We work with quite a few pro athletes and then regular clients also, one of which would be Carlos Condit. We did help Carlos Condit on his comeback after he tore his ACL. And then we also did work with Mirsad Bektik, who maybe going on 3 years or so, tore his ACL, and we helped with him. There's a few other athletes whose names I won't name because they didn't put it public. We've worked with quite a few other athletes. Now, a lot of times athletes go through surgeries and they never say anything because they don't want their opposition to know that they had a bum knee. Some athletes it comes out, some it doesn't come out. So I will only ever talk about those who have had public knowledge. But there's been quite a few. My man, what's up, my friend? Hello, coach. What motivated you most when you were young? Eating, breathing, being warm. I grew up destitute in abject poverty. No heat, no running water, no electricity in my home. Rarely any food. My father was struck down with a massive stroke and heart attack. My mother, stay-at-home mom, was now forced to work. Single mom of 4 kids, trying to work any part-time job possible just to barely bring in enough money. And unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough. So my motivation as a kid was just to eat, just to breathe, just to live, just to get through that day, get through this day, and build. And that created my work ethic. And I was aware of the health issues my father had. So that seed was planted in the back of my mind. And I just became enamored with health and fitness and nutrition and exercise. And exercise or sports became my way out. That's why I wrestled. And wrestling actually was very formative, making me who I am. Completely alone, independent on the map by yourself, but you must be a teammate. You must be as good of a teammate as you are a competitor in order to train your teammates, train your partners to push you to the level that makes you better. So you have to push everybody in that room to make yourself better. So those were the formative parts of my life in many ways. And I think that is because now I think I've achieved a little bit of success and however we can define it, success. But I wake up every day with that same chip on my shoulder, that same fear that the lights are going to get shut off, that food is going to get taken off my table. And I will not allow my daughters to go through that. I will not allow you guys to go through that. I will not allow anyone to go through that, hopefully, which is why I speak the way I do and I carry myself in the manner that I do. And I run my business in the way that I do. There's a high moral authority here with the Dolce Diet brand and with what I do personally. And that is very much entrenched in the foundation that I have of having absolutely nothing and having to fight tooth and nail, literally just to eat. Literally, like just to get through that day. I used to do my homework sitting on my front porch because we had no lights on in my house, and I could get just enough light from the street lamp down the street so I could sit there and do my homework. Could you imagine that? That's many nights. That was me. And then here we are now. So I hope that helps. Hawk, smash the like button. Yeah, smash the like button. Thank you, Hawk. I appreciate that. Everybody give this video a like. I think it's a good video. Terrence, what kind of water filter do you use? So we have a few. We have the Tendon USA high-end, super high-end water filtration systems, the under the sink and the above the sink. We have multiples. I'm very happy and thankful to our friends at Tendon USA. We also use it on the top of the counter Berkey. We've spoken about our Berkey filter many times. I love the Berkey filter. That's been great. We use a Brita, tabletop Brita also. So our water is always single filtered. Usually it's double filtered. A lot of times what we'll do when we were in Las Vegas, we would use the Tient USA under the sink filter to fill up the Berkey and then run it through the Berkey, not because the Tient wasn't good or the Berkey wasn't good, but because the Las Vegas water supply is so fucking scary. It's so scary. We were not taking any chances, and we had little kids in the house. And I am very much not germaphobe is a good term to use, but I'm so aware of much of that happens around health and fitness and food sources and contamination and just how dirty, filthy people are and the low quality of standards. And even the highest levels of business and government. I definitely hedge against faulty machinery, faulty software, or just faulty employee attention. And I put that in my own hands. Don't worry about your French, Dolce. Authentic is more important. Keep it up. Well, I appreciate that. As of all January, all February, I had the 0 curse policy. I took me 19 curses in the beginning of January to get it cleaned. Then I didn't say another curse publicly all the way through the end of February. And then I realized, fuck that. Fuck that. I'm curtailing my own conversation too much. And you guys were getting upset at me for just not letting things fly. And I wasn't as in the moment. Not that I use gratuitous cursing, and I hope that I don't. And I think that was a good benefit for me. And in a way, it was what I like to do is I always like to challenge myself. I always like to, I'll just say, I love coffee. I have no problem with coffee. And my body really thrives very well on coffee. And every so often I'll say, you know what? I'm not going to drink coffee for a week or a month. For what? No other reason other than because I want to control myself and I want to test myself and I want to make sure I am that sharp that I can delay gratification for no reason other than to sharpen my mind and sharpen my fortitude. And I do that in many different ways. A cafe that I love to go to, I say, all right, for the next 10 days or whatever, I'm not going there, or whatever little habits that I might have that are innocuous and not harmful, and some are even positive, just to make sure I can control that. Hawk says, not sponsored. Mike is awesome. I appreciate that, Hawk. Thank you. Had ACL surgery 9 years ago. Hope I don't have to have it again. I feel you, brother. Who knows? That's why we say after surgery, always work with a physical therapist that specializes in working with athletes. That way you get the best possible care. Tamil says, when are you going on Joe Rogan's podcast? I don't know. I am a proud 2-time guest of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, which is awesome. I would love to speak with Joe on a 3rd time because I think the 3rd time we can actually get down and deep. I'm not encumbered by any more contracts. I don't have to worry about intellectual properties. I don't have to tiptoe around certain athlete stories. I can be completely open, honest, and just show my cards and tell everybody exactly why the fucking Dolce diet is the most successful weight cutting program in the history of combat sports and what we've been able to do and learn during that period of time working with such elite athletes and high-level VIPs, corporate executive heads of state, and celebrities, not to mention millions of you around the world, and show what best practices actually are when it comes to nutrition and science. Pull the curtain back a little bit on a lot of the fuckery that goes on, and then maybe give some unexpected endorsements to some individuals and entities that I don't necessarily agree with, but can actually co-sign on some of their philosophical approaches. So lots of good shit. And of course, Joe's the best in the world. He's the best interview out there. And I think I need someone like Joe Rogan truly to push me and test me and challenge me and pull the information out of me that you guys want to hear. Because right now, you guys asking me questions, I think we have a pretty good, engaging, robust conversation here. I think it's pretty good. Having someone as smart as Joe Rogan out there who has such a firm grasp of most of these concepts, probably a purple belt level, and I say that with utmost respect. I think Joe would agree. Probably a purple belt level in more topics than any other person I've heard. Certainly, more towards brown and black levels in certain areas, but I think a purple level conversational knowledge base of nearly every topic, specifically with regards of health and fitness. I think that would be awesome. So if you guys are fans of Joe, know Joe, have access to Joe, let them know. If you want to hear, let them know. Don't say put Dolce on. You don't have to do that shit, but just say, hey man, this is what I would love to hear you and Dolce talk about, because that's what I want to hear. I want to talk about what you guys want to hear. Hawk says, listen to Mike's Kit Kat story. It's the best. I should do a full YouTube video on that story. Hawk, that's a good reminder. Mehmed, coach, next week book, The Interview with the Vampire, ended. Thank you for any Interview with the Vampire. Read the whole series, Mehmed. You've just started. I think it might be The Vampire Lestat, might be the second book. I forget now because there's so many. There's quite a few. I forget. There was like 7 or 11 books in that series now. Anne Rice, I give a book recommendation a while ago. But go to Wikipedia, go to Google, whatever, and find out the chronological order of when she actually wrote and published those books and read them in order, man. It's awesome. Just disappear. Let her take you on a journey. I wasn't a fan of her whole witches stuff, though. So I read a few. I read all of those. And I was just like, didn't really enjoy that. But the vampire stuff was awesome. Bro Science Hustler, I started taking natural sleep aid until I slept walked and put my wallet in the toaster and toasted it. Be careful with that stuff. Real story. Yikes. Which one did you take? I don't recommend any of that stuff, not even melatonin. Which one did you take? That's scary. Mehmed, how old were you when you quit your job as a tax agent and started the life again? I was 28 years old. 28 years old. I did it. I made it. I made it. I earned my way. I worked my way out of abject poverty, and I got a good job, a big boy job, a real job in my mid-20s. And I had a great salary, and I had benefits, and I had a pension. I had a condo on the beach with a Lincoln Continental and a Ford Explorer XLT Eddie Bauer Sport Edition in my driveway, pimping, balling. And I decided to give it all away, to resign from the position, to turn in all of that I had, to renounce the high salary that I was getting and go back down and make absolutely nothing. To make $32 a day, 4 hours a day, $8 an hour, 4 hours a day, $32 a day before taxes, to be the head strength coach of Team Quest North. This is in 2004. I took the job, 2004. So I left a 6-figure salary to make, I think I made $14,000 the 12 months of that year. Insane, right? To mop the mats and clean the bathrooms. So, and then I would do that from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. And those at the Team Quest, they know. And then from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., I would coach 40 of the world's greatest athletes and teach as many classes as I could for free, because I was told I was working for opportunity, not for money. From there, I was able to take my hard work, my energy, my enthusiasm, my skill of business, and I became the general manager of the facility, doubling the gross receivables of that facility. I won't say the numbers, but it was a massive number. And I was able to earn myself. I built myself a salary. I built myself healthcare in that industry, in that business. And then from there, it was time for me to transition and move on. Benny, what do you think of Kagon water? I don't know enough about it to comment. My apologies. Zach Merritt, I have to cut 5 pounds for a same-day weigh-in next Friday. Your thoughts on suggestions? 5 pounds for same-day weigh-in. You're almost there. If you're playing with your hydration levels, if you're calibrating your food intake, you should be fine. You should be. I can't imagine. You should be fine because you have next week. You have a week or so to just bring that weight down. You should be good. Thoughts on swimming almost immediately after weight training? That's going to be tough, man. That's going to be tough. I'm going to drown if I try and swim after I weight train because I'm not a very good swimmer. Some people are better at swimming than they are at walking. If that's the case, fine. But for me, I'm burning up way, way, way too much stored glycogen while swimming because I'm just trying not to die. Kelly, you were great on Joey Diaz's podcast. I started your diet with the exercise program weeks after hearing it, and I'm down 47 pounds so far. You're a genius, Dolce. Kelly, that is absolutely amazing. So those of you who don't know, I was on Joey Diaz's The Church of What's Happening Now podcast, and that is still available on his network, which you should go and listen to. I appreciate that. Joey, Uncle Joey is the best. The fucking best, man. What a solid dude. And Kelly's down 47 pounds. That was in December. So December to January to February, here in March. So in 3 months, probably you followed our 12-week program then, I'm assuming. So Kelly followed our 12-week online personalized diet and exercise program at thedolcediet.com. It's 8 weeks of living lean plus the 4-week, 3 weeks to shredded bundle. Super easy, super inexpensive, absolutely awesome. Completely personalized the exercises and nutrition for you. Kelly's down 47 pounds in 12 weeks. Boom, there you go. Shout out to Joey Diaz. Ragnar, what's the quickest way to melt the remaining lower belly button piece of fat? Diet is tight. Breakfast bowl, veggie smoothies. training regimen is 5 days. I would look to increasing sleep. Maybe you're not quite sleeping enough, burning that candle at both ends, not getting proper REMs, which will definitely inhibit total fat loss. Or I would say consider doing some sort of low intensity, steady state cardiovascular activity while fasted, first thing in the morning, in the absence of insulin, to help assist in the oxidation of that stored, stubborn, specific, gender specific body fat. I would try that and go there. I wouldn't look to reduce calories right away. Ragnar, week, 2 days strength, 2 days medium intensity, sustainable, 2 days of strength, 2 days medium intensity, 1 day mobility, finish with shorter but more intense cardio. I oscillate between 176 and 80. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That actually sounds really good, Ragnar. Mehmed, what's the best recovery? Are you an active recovery man or a fan of steam rooms, cold water, pool? So I actually have an infrared sauna in my house. Obviously, you can tell that I do believe in it because I made the investment to have one of these in my home. I do prefer cold water immersion to cryo tanks. Not that cryo tanks are bad, but I think science has clearly upheld that cold water immersion is better for total reduction of inflammation and regenerative properties. But active recovery is simply just going for a walk, having a laugh with your family. I consider that to be active recovery. Mood elevation has a big impact on your ability to recover from strenuous training cycles. Mehmed, how about massage and vibration for recovery? Well, make sure you're not getting into a Robert Kraft situation, getting that vibrator during your massage. But now that's worth some thumbs up right there. I would say, those who got the joke. But yeah, massage for sure. I try and get massage at least once every 2 weeks when I can. Once a week is ideal, but who's got time for that? But once every 2 weeks or so, I actually go to a Russian banya, a Russian bathhouse, and I'll spend, if I can do that once a week, that's awesome. But usually twice a month would be ideal. And I try and rotate. Hit the banya one week, get a massage next week. I get a couple infrared saunas, in my house during the week. I take some cold showers. I don't have, the tub, a cold tub yet. I don't think I'll do that because I got little kids and I don't want a big tub of standing water, which is why I don't have a hot tub yet. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Unsupervised, things can happen. So we got to be a little careful. It was Somanex sleep aid. All right. I don't know anything about it. Where did you initially learn about nutrition? I was self-taught in the very beginning because I was fascinated with getting bigger and stronger. Fascinated. At 8 years old, I was fascinated with it. Fascinated. I could not get enough of anything, of anything that had to do with muscle and fitness and nutrition and strength and every muscle magazine you can ever think of, Flex magazine and Muscle and Fitness and Muscular Development and Muscle Mag International and Iron Man and Men's Health and Men's Fitness, and even kind of like the Borderline, which I look back now and they were like semi-erotic, soft, core homosexual magazines, whatever. They had some pretty good training articles, but the guys were like wearing Daisy Dukes and underpants and stuff. So that was a little bit different. I didn't know at the time because I was a kid. I was just trying to get big and strong and fit and learn as much as I can. And I read all the women stuff too, all the women periodicals that had the same basic information. I aligned myself with people and mentors that were at the high level. As a kid, I would tag along with all the big, strong guys in the facility, and I would get a lot of the bro learning from these guys, competitive bodybuilders, strength athletes, and wrestlers. I started working as 12 years old with a lot of competitive high school level wrestlers and coaches, and then state and regional level. At that time, I started working with high level competitive powerlifters that hold state and national records and were internationally ranked. This is all as an early teenager. I worked one-on-one and interned with a very famous, locally famous registered dietitian who was also a competitive bodybuilder in town, and I became basically a gopher in many ways. I would just sit in his office and get as much information as possible and talk about training. I think he just liked having someone to talk to on the strength and conditioning side, and not so much on the clinical nutrition side, which is what he focused on primarily. And I got lots of good time and good content from that, and then slowly started taking more classes on the academic side and building up my academic resume with regards to nutrition, strength and conditioning, physiology, kinesiology, anatomy, just as much information as I could. And I still follow that route today. Those of you who know me know that I don't stop. I continue to learn in the way that makes sense for me. And I will say that I'm not the best student, not because I think I'm smarter than the professor, but because the way my brain works is a little different, and I was able to identify that. And I was an honors student. I was always honors math and honors biology, honors math and honors sciences, and that was always very easy for me. And I think because of that, I had some trouble paying attention in school. I would lose interest real fast. I want to learn about other maybe parallel areas. So I think my route of education was very successful for me in many ways. And whatever my accolades are, I think they stand the test of time, and my resume holds up against anyone and everyone's resume. But it's the constant pursuit, and I use a white belt mentality. No matter what I've done, no matter what success I've had, no whether what results I've been able to replicate time and time again, I still take a white belt approach and say, what did we do wrong here? What can we do better? What other information is out there? What are we missing? That's the way we operate here. Mo got the Robert Kraft. There we go. Good. Saldine, are there ways to target tendon or ligament strength? If so, would it have an impact on injury prevention? There is. That's a whole video, though. I can't get into that now. And there's lots of good science out there. I would say training with proper training loads matters. Rule number one when it comes to joint ligament health is do no harm. And there's certain stretch responses that can be managed and measured and improved with certain type of training loads, but then we really have to start delving into the periodization systems in order to do that. Foam roll, should I put cheese in my diet or butter? If you a little bit, half a teaspoon, tablespoon of a butter time and again, 2 ounces of a cheese in a certain recipe maybe, but not like as the go-to. Mehmed, do you recommend neck bridges for neck strength? The wrestlers do that too much. And what do you recommend? Well, I did them. I did them for about 6 years of my life, and I got a fucking strong as shit neck, and my neck was up over 22 inches at certain points in my early 20s. Fucking massive, right? I think I even went as close as 23 inches. But I got some neck issues. I mean, my neck is still big, and people always ask me how to train the neck and build a neck like mine. But I got some neck issues that maybe were a result of it, maybe weren't, maybe were genetic, maybe from the way I sleep. I don't know. So I wouldn't really do the bridges as much unless I was a competitive wrestler or grappler. If I was a competitive combat athlete, then I would put myself in those positions to strengthen those positions, because during a competition, you will be in those positions. But I wouldn't do it as excessively. I mean, I remember being in bridges for 45 minutes. And anytime somebody would, put a hand down or drop their ass to the floor, the coach would start the clock over again. So I came up through that style of wrestling, which is fucking brutal. Though I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it because it pulled a lot out of me mentally. Brandon, hey coach, difference between hypertrophy and adaptation growth. I'm having a debate about cold baths and strength training, inflammation versus adapting. Brandon, could you be more specific, please? And maybe this is something that's warranted in a larger video. Maybe we'll do a 7 to 10 minute video on that. Shoot me either you can do here or leave it in the comments. Give me a little more context to grab onto, because I think there's a lot of information here. Grones, hey Dolce, please have a look at this. It's being used now to bash organic food from pretty serious people. I'm not buying it, but would love your input. Gronis, there's no link, so I don't know what you mean. Have a look at this. Have a look at what? Mehmed, any before going to bed routine and after waking up routine? Before going to bed, I like to write all the things that I need to do tomorrow in my head. I have a little pad next to my bed. I got a, doctor's appointment, or I got to call this thing tomorrow. Don't forget to mail that letter, whatever. Got to, buy more water for the gym. I'll write that down so I don't think about it. I release that. I just go through the process of writing that stuff down. So I release it. So I don't have to think about it anymore. I know it's there. I know it's there. I know it's ready. And then I just kind of shift into mindless zone. Scroll some Twitter, Instagram, or whatever for a few minutes. Watch a couple of YouTube videos that are mellow that I kind of enjoy. And then I'll try and focus on something like I used to talk about Seinfeld all the time. I think this works great. Find a TV show or a movie that you've seen a million times since you were a kid. A million times. You know every word, every scene, every aspect of every single part of it. Turn that on as low as possible. Flip your eye. I use my iPad. I flip my iPad face down so I can't see it. I turn it as low as possible, so I have to strain to hear it, but I can barely hear it. And I just picture the scene. And usually within 2 minutes, I'm gone. I just shut off that self-talk. It's very easy. Grown is having problems sometimes with cramping when some limbs are in compromising positions in jiu-jitsu, even before I'm tired and I'm hydrated, good food and all. Could be a flexibility issue. Yeah, you properly warming into your training sessions. People say warming up. I like to say warming in. It gives a different mental picture. You want to warm into your training sessions and then make sure you warm down at the very end with good stretching and mobility. Ling Yini, are you watching the UFC card tomorrow? Till Masvidal should be a fun. It should be. I'll probably watch Georgie. I like Masvidal. I'm friends with Masvidal. I've actually helped Masvidal in his career a few times unofficially. So I like Georgie a lot. And then Till, Till's he's a good fighter. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. I think, man, I think that could go a lot of different ways. So we'll see. But yeah, I will watch it. I don't even know who else is on the card, but I definitely want to see that fight. Mehmed, how about stopping a bad habit? I smoke too much cigarette and cannot stop it by any tips. I'm not an expert on that, but I think you have to find a way. I know some people that cold turkeyed it. I know some people that did some form of hypnosis. I know some people that slowly weaned themselves off. I know some people that switched to the patch or the gum. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that field, and I don't want to tell you what to do. But I will tell you, Mehmed, that you need to get it done. You need to do it, my friend. You need to do it. You need to stop smoking. You need to put your health first. You need to make this a priority in your life. And I just ask you every day to get one step closer to finally quitting forever. Some days you'll take massive leaps towards it, and some days you'll take tiny little steps. But come on, my man. You got to do that. You can't be healthy and fit if you're still smoking cigarettes. No matter what, you will not optimize your life. No matter what. I believe you can do it, my friend. Let's do it. Gronus, I'll check this link afterwards, right? Masvidal is the coolest guy in the roster. Really hope he gets it. Exactly. All right, guys and gals, that is it. We are 1 hour in to the Friday Q&A on our YouTube channel, also posted on our podcast, the Mike Dolce Show podcast on iTunes. You should be subscribing. You should be listening. We get lots of bonus episodes also on the podcast that you don't get on the YouTube channel, and vice versa. A lot of information on the YouTube channel that doesn't show up on the podcast. You should be subscribed and frequenting both. Some is long form like this. This is an hour. Some is super short. I think did a goblet squat video yesterday. I think it was barely a minute for the YouTube channel. I think that's it, guys and gals. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. Remember, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I perform these live Q&As live on our YouTube channel, and then we post again to the Mike Dolce Show podcast on iTunes and everywhere else iTunes are listened to. Thank you all once again. Have a great weekend. And remember, on Instagram every day, I do an Instagram live. I try and do an hour. I try and run out of time on Instagram every single day, Monday through Sunday, Saturdays and Sundays. I'm on there too, answering as many questions as I can. Nobody else gives as much free, open information than I do, than I aspire to, than I try to do. Nobody, I believe, cares about their community, our community, cares about you guys like I do, just simply trying to educate you so you take this information and you start to research on your own. Remember, research every single thing I tell you. Try and prove me wrong. Please try and prove me wrong. By doing that, you'll likely prove me right. And then at worst, you will now know as much as I do or more than I do, which is the goal. And that's what I want. I want each one of you to understand exactly what you're doing. I want you to be responsible. I want you to be intentional. I want you to be mindful with all of your choices, all of your food choices, all your exercise choices, all your rest, recovery, recreation choices, all of your stress choices, all of the habits that you have in your day, all the environmental influences that you have, external influences that you have. I want you to be aware of that and have a greater understanding of how it affects you. I don't want you to just listen to me just because I trained your favorite athlete or superstar, just because I'm super fucking sexy and ripped and lean and healthy. Not just because of that. I mean, yeah, fine. All right, that might be true. But I want you to be that person. I want you to be me. I want you to know what I know. I want you to know more than I know. I want you to be the me of your world. And I say that with respect because you guys can get there. And the more I talk like this, the more I share this with you. And the more all of us share this information together, the better we all are together. So until next time, boom.